Hello, this is Jason Clement, Technical Sales Manager at ISONAS, and welcome to this DBCrystal Advanced Training module. This module is ISONAS Scripting Basics. Our course objectives are: understand what a script is and how it works, review the scripting syntax and the configuration options in DBCrystal, and configure several scripts based on typical scenarios. So what is a script? A script is a series of commands run when a specific condition in a system is met. For example, when a specific card is read in the system, a lockdown event occurs. Or, when an input changes state, a series of outputs are triggered in the system. A script in ISONAS has two parts. The first part is the trigger event, what's going to cause these series of commands to be run. And then the second part is the commands that happen once the trigger event occurs. So how does this work? First, you must have the INRServe application running. INRServe is installed with DBCrystal. All you have to do is basically turn it on. The INRServe provides both the TCPIP interface and the script runner. INRServe is used for all of our integrations as well. The TCPIP interface sends all events to the script runner. The script runner then monitors all these events for matches to the configured script triggers. When it makes a match, it sends the commands to the TCPIP interface and those commands are executed. All the commands for INRServe are in our TCPIP interface manual, available on YouTube at the link below or in the learning portal in the widget below. This is an overview of the INRServe application. The TCPIP interface is sending all the events, in this case to our script runner. If we were running the milestone integration, then the TCPIP interface would be sending all the events to the milestone server. Once the script runner makes a match, it then sends those commands to the TCPIP interface, which sends the commands out to the reader controllers or IP bridges via their respective CSUP. So let's take a look at a typical lockdown scenario. A school district wants a lockdown button. When this button is pushed, it will lock down a group of doors. The button is wired to the aux port on an RCO3. They also have an SRM and some 12-volt DC strobes connected to TTL1 of the same RCO3 the lockdown button is on. When the push button is engaged, a group of doors will go into lockdown and the TTL on the power net will change state to set off the strobes. We'll also have one people group that will be set with the master credential status. This master credential status will allow their card to work even in a lockdown scenario. Let's take a look at DBCrystal and EasyWeb and see how all this is configured. I already have a small basic system already set up. I have two doors, demo door number 1 and demo door number 2. I already have a few people in the system, and I already have a rule created, which is basically all access to all doors. So the first thing we want to do is get INRServe up and running. To do that, you want to go to your applications and actually run the INRServe application. We want to go to TCPIP, and first we need to configure it. We're going to choose the IP address of the machine, which is my 192.168.1.25 address. And we want to go in here and change this connection timeout to 0. We'll also set this to start automatically on load. If this is a production environment, the next thing you want to do is go to DBINRServe and actually install this as a Windows service. We don't just want to leave this application up and running in the background. We want it to be installed as a service. That way the machine can be logged out, the machine can restart, and the service will just come right back up. So again, in a production environment, install this as a Windows service. For this training application, we're just going to go to TCPIP and we're going to click Run. You can also do this while you're testing scripts, just to make sure that all your information is coming through correctly. Now we'll go up to Scripts and we'll click Run. If everything is configured correctly, you'll see this script heartbeat command here, and down here in the processes, you'll see ISONAS script run is connected. We're going to go ahead and minimize this. Before we start writing our scripts, let's take a look at the TCPIP manual. This manual has all the commands for the TCPIP interface. It also goes over the connection process as well. So there's a couple commands that I know we're going to use for this scenario. We're going to use a lockdown command. So if we search this document by hitting Control F and just type in lockdown, we can see it takes us right to this menu here, so I'll just click on here, which will take us to this page. So we can see that a lockdown command is simply the syntax lockdown, then either the door name or the door group. We also need to turn a TTL on. So we'll search command set TTL. So if we look at the syntax of this, it's a little bit different. We have a set TTL, and then we have the N. That N is either TTL1 or TTL2. Then we need to specify a specific door name, and then we're either going to turn it on or off. Alternatively, we can see that this reset interval is set in brackets. That means that it's an optional command. We can turn this on with a reset interval in seconds. For example, if we wanted to pulse the TTL for 5 seconds, we would turn the TTL on, and then we would put a reset interval of 5, and it would only turn on for 5 seconds and then turn itself off. In this case, we want the strobes to come on and only be turned off once the lockdown scenario is completed. The next thing we need to do is we actually need to take the system out of lockdown. That command is reset normal. So just like lockdown, reset normal is pretty simple. It's the reset normal command and then either the door name or the door group. There are many commands that you can find in this manual. Scripting is a very powerful tool. So let's go ahead and minimize this. We have our INRServe application running. In order to write the scripts, we actually have to go to dbadmin. So in dbadmin, we'll go up to scripts and we'll configure some scripts here. Scripting has two parts. First is the actual trigger portion, and then on the right hand side here will be our commands. So the first thing we'll do is configure the trigger. We'll click insert and we'll give this trigger a name. This is going to be aux lockdown since it's connected to the aux input. For this scenario, I'm actually going to choose a reject on the aux input. Now you can do this many ways. You can say it when an aux goes into alarm, you can trigger it, but this seems to be the easiest way to trigger the actual event. So I'm going to go ahead and do an aux lockdown on a reject. We don't want to limit the shift. We want this to be able to happen at any time. Here we can go ahead and click interactive use. This means that we can run the script from DB Monitor, or we could run it through EasyWeb. So we wouldn't have to trigger it through the actual aux. We could just run the script through EasyWeb with anybody that has access. We're going to go ahead and leave this interactive use at off for this script. So I know that I've wired this button to the aux input on demo door number 2. So we'll choose demo door number 2 and select. And this is going to be on a specific person, specifically the aux input. We don't want just any credential rejecting. So that's our trigger event. Now we actually need to write this script. We'll go ahead and click new here. It will want to create a new file. And then we'll go ahead and type in our commands. Command lockdown, and our door group of all doors. And don't forget the vertical line for the end character. If you forget the end character, the script will not run. The second thing we want to do is turn the TTL on. Remember that command, set space TTL, and it's connected to TTL2. A specific door of demo door number 2, and we're going to turn the TTL on and put our end character in. From here we'll just close this out and it will automatically save this text document. Now if we close out of here and go back to our scripts and configure, we can see our trigger event and then the actual commands that will happen. So we have our aux lockdown. Now we need a way to actually reset it. We have to take this out of lockdown at some time, otherwise nobody would ever be able to get back in the system. So we'll go ahead and create a script called reset lockdown. Now this is actually going to be run from EasyWeb or DB Monitor. So I'm going to allow interactive use on this script. Because I don't have an actual trigger event like a card read or an input changing state, I'm just going to go ahead and choose one of these options towards the bottom. I don't have any input points, so we'll just take disable input point. We don't have any of those. We're just basically creating this script to allow interactive use. So our trigger event is essentially going to be interactive use through EasyWeb. Now we'll go ahead and create the script. To reset the system back to normal, it's reset normal command. On all door group. End command. And then finally we need to set our TTL off. So again, set TTL to on demo door number 2 to off. And save this script. And we'll go ahead and close out of here. And the final portion was actually creating these master credentials. This way, in a lockdown scenario, a select group of people will still have access to the building. The first thing we want to do is create an actual people group for that. So we'll go up to people and groups. We'll insert a new people group. We'll call this Master Creds. We'll go down and choose the members for this group by clicking the members button here. And we'll go ahead and we'll put Erica into this group. Now that we have the group created, we can go ahead and create the special permissions for this. Click on the badge icon up at the top. Click on the group tab. And we'll go ahead and insert a new rule. This is going to be on a group of people. Specifically our all group master creds. And then this is going to work on all doors. And now we simply have to choose master badge. So in this scenario, the master badge will allow anybody in the group of people of master creds access at all doors as long as they have permission at those doors. So we'll click OK and we'll click close. And then before testing this, we'll go up to permissions and we'll just run a full compile for good measure. Close out of that, and now we'll move over to EasyWeb. Go to our dashboard, and we can see that everything is normal in our system. So let's go ahead and run our lockdown. I'll trigger the auxiliary input. We can see that it's gone into a lockdown state by the dual red LEDs, and we can see that TTL2 is triggered. We'll go ahead and read Jane's card, and we can see it was rejected because the system's in lockdown and she does not have the master credential flag. We'll go ahead and read Erica's credential, who does have the master credential flag because she's part of the Master Creds group. And we can see she's been admitted access. Now we'll go ahead and take the system out of lockdown. We don't have a physical input for that. We're going to run that via a script. So we'll click on scripts, and here we can see any scripts that we set to interactive. We'll go ahead and execute this script, and we'll execute it now. We can see that the system is now out of lockdown and returned to its normal lock state, and we can see that TTL2 is off. Now that the school has run a couple lockdown scenarios, they have a revision that they want to put in place for the system. The school district wants a select group of people to have a second card that would initiate a lockdown scenario the same as the button. This solution will allow for a more mobile solution for anyone in the group to be able to initiate the lockdown quickly. This group of people will also be able to actively use their cards during a lockdown scenario. So the second portion, we'd actually just put those people into the Master Creds group. The first portion is a little bit different. Let's go back to DBCrystal. So the first thing we want to do is we have a group of people that we want to do something. Let's go ahead and create a people group. So we'll call this Lockdown Creds. Now we'll go ahead and add this person in through EasyWeb. We'll go to our People tab, click Add Person, and we'll call this Lockdown Cred number 1. We'll go ahead and upload a simple picture here, just a little lockdown icon, and click Save for the profile. We'll add this person to the Lockdown Creds group, and finally we'll add the badge in. We'll go ahead and read this from demo door number 2, and click Save. We don't need to assign any rules from here because we're not going to allow this card access to anything. So we'll click Save, and we'll go back to our dashboard. Now we'll go back to DBCrystal to actually create the script. We'll go to our scripts and configure. We'll insert a new script and create the trigger. This will be card lockdown. It will be a reject, essentially on any door, by any person in the Lockdown Creds group. We don't need to allow this interactive use. We've got a push button, and soon we'll have these credentials to allow lockdown. And we'll click OK. We already have a reset lockdown. That script can be used if somebody pushes the button or uses this card. Now we'll go ahead and write the commands for this script. Essentially, they're going to be the exact same commands as our button. Lockdown all doors, end command. Set TTL2 on demo door number 2 to on, end command, and save this. Close out of here, and we'll click on scripts again, click on our card lockdown, and we can see that we've got our commands in there. Now we'll close out of here, we'll go to our permissions, and we'll run a full compile just to ensure that all the rules are pushed out to the devices. We'll close out of here, and we'll go back to EasyWeb. Back to our dashboard, and now we'll read our lockdown card. So we can see here that the doors are in lockdown. You can see that they're in lockdown, and you can see that TTL2 has been triggered. To take it out of lockdown, we'll go back to our scripts and we'll run our reset lockdown script. We'll execute this now, and we can see that our system is out of lockdown and our TTL2 has been turned off. So let's review our scripting basics. Our course objectives were: understand what a script is and how it works. A script has two portions, a trigger and a series of commands. All of the commands are listed in our TCPIP Interface manual. We reviewed the scripting syntax and the configuration options in DBCrystal. The scripting syntax again can be found in the TCPIP Interface manual, and the configuration options for our trigger events and to make it interactive can be done when you create the script. And finally, we configured several scripts based on typical scenarios. We did a lockdown, we triggered a TTL on, and we turned it off. And we also set the system back to normal. Scripting is a very powerful tool that allows you to do many things in DBCrystal. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope it was beneficial. Have a fantastic day.